want to give an update on the Israeli-Hamas war and its relationship to scripture studies that we've done. We recently studied the remarks that Jesus made about his second coming and how they relate to the book of Revelation's description of what John was shown regarding Jesus' return. Jesus said, "No one knows the hour nor the day, so we're to be vigilant and watchful." He also said, however, that when events he described would occur, they would be signs of his return. So at the end, Jesus said, "Watch and pray." So what are we to watch for? I'm going to comment on the events that have occurred since the last time I did an update on the Israeli-Hamas war that I think are things we are to watch for and pray about. Last time I updated on the Israeli-Hamas war, I mentioned that a missile had been launched from Yemen aimed at Israel, as I showed on this map. Information this past Monday reported that the missile was launched by the Houthis group in Yemen, who obtained the missile from Iran. It was a ballistic missile which flew almost 1,000 miles across the Arabian Peninsula. Its trajectory took it above the Earth's atmosphere into space, where the Israeli anti-ballistic missile system was able to intercept it and destroy it. This is the first time in history that combat has ever taken place in space. This is something to continue to watch for. The Houthis in Yemen, who launched that missile, have also declared war against Israel and are one of the key military organizations supported by Iran fighting against Israel's existence. They have vowed to launch more attacks and are quoted as saying it is to, quote, help the Palestinians to victory. In 2003, the Houthis adopted the slogan, "God is great, death to the U.S., death to Israel, curse the Jews, and victory for Islam." This is another indication of expansion of the war as other countries potentially declare war against Israel, leading to a much broader escalation of the war beyond just those countries adjoining Israel. This is something we have to watch for. On Monday, in an interview, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that Israel will need to oversee the security of the Gaza Strip once the fighting is over. His plan, if enacted, would appear to stop short of a full occupation of Gaza, a move that the United States and others have warned against. It's the kind of activity that may pull other Islamic nations into active warfare against Israel. So we need to keep watching for this to see what happens. Yesterday, the Queen of Jordan, Queen Rania, was very vocal, objecting to Israel's response to the Hamas attack and the possible overseeing of the security of Gaza once the fighting stops. All the countries bordering Israel are considered allies of the United States, except for Lebanon on the north, and then Syria in the northeast, who currently have no diplomatic relations with the U.S. The Queen of Jordan repeated the claims that the Palestinians have made regarding what Israel has done in the past: illegal occupation of Palestinian territory, illegal settlements in the West Bank, human rights violations of displacement of Palestinians in the West Bank, and a disregard by Israel of the UN resolutions and international law. All four arguments are primarily the result of Israel's occupation of the West Bank since the Six-Day War in 1967. Here's what Israel looked like when it was formed in 1948. The Six-Day War took place June 5th through 10th, 1967, with a coalition of Arab countries attacking Israel. Egypt attacked from the west, Jordan from the east, and Syria from the north. Not only did the Arab countries not succeed, but Israel was able to capture the Sinai Peninsula from Egypt, the West Bank from Jordan, and the Golan Heights from Syria. Eventually, Israel returned Sinai to Egypt. Gaza had been under Israeli military control since 1967 until 1995, when the Palestinian Authority was established to govern Gaza. In the 2006 Palestinian election, Hamas took over the governance of Gaza. Hamas was then able to organize its military capabilities and spent the last 2 years preparing the attack on Israel on October 7th. The Golan Heights continue to be occupied by Israel. The Palestinian Authority was also given governance of portions of the West Bank for Palestinian occupation, while Israel continues to maintain military control of the West Bank. This is what the Palestinians regard as illegal occupation. Israeli settlements continue to be established in the West Bank, which is what the Palestinians also consider to be illegal. The oversight by Israel of the West Bank and control of settlements is what the Palestinians consider to be a violation of Palestinian human rights. And Israel continues to ignore United Nations resolutions condemning the expansion of settlements in the West Bank. With our allies, such as Jordan, expressing concern about what Israel is doing and voicing support for the Hamas terrorists, we need to watch what other countries express and do regarding these issues. Over the past week, a polarization of support between Israelis and Palestinians has grown around the world to an extent never seen since Israel was established. Overt anti-Semitism has become more visible in the United States and other democratic countries as protests regarding how Israel is proceeding in carrying out their express goal to eradicate Hamas. How public opinion influences the direction of events is something we need to watch for. One thing we do know from our Bible studies is that God promised this land to Abraham and his descendants, the Jewish people. It tells us in Genesis chapter 12, "Now the Lord said to Abram, go from your country and your kindred and your father's house to the land that I will show you. And I will make of you a great nation, and I will bless you and make your name great, so that you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and him who dishonors you I will curse. And in you all the families of the earth shall be blessed." Then the Lord appeared to Abram and said, "To your offspring I will give this land." So he built there an altar to the Lord. So when it comes to who will come out victorious, what do you think that's going to be? At one point, Israel's ambassador to the United Nations held up a Bible before fellow envoys and told them, "This is the deed to our land." So we'll keep watching and praying as the world moves another day closer to the return of the King of Kings and Lord of Lords.